Hey guys, Cohesive Friendship Unit here. We're going to be talking about PUBG today. I am here with Brian.
What's going on?
Jeremy.
Yo, what up?
And Jake.
Hey guys.
And we're going to talk about the March update for PUBG. It was a 9 gig update, came out about a week ago.
9.1.
9.1. Came out about a week ago, and we've had some time to play with it. And I'm going to walk through exactly what was released, and then we're going to kind of share what we think about it. And at the end, we're going to talk about that map, because we've had a little time to let that sit. So first off, they had some optimizations. Reduced burden on the GPU for the first map. They optimized the beginning and end of effects, optimized the vehicle physics, which helps. They improved the response and input lag. The servers were optimized, and the lobby system was generally overworked. But we're going to talk about the gameplay, because I think that's kind of the meat and potatoes of this and what people actually notice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The gameplay, 37 achievements were added to Steam. I already have 25% of those. They added emotes. They added, they fixed some blood. They added some materials. They altered some scopes, and they added a parallax effect when moving fast. They updated the sounds. They added a effect for the plane. They added darker edges, color aberration, just general effects specifically with edges of scopes. Scopes were a big thing. And then they fixed a lot of bugs. So we've had some time to play with it. I'm going to ask, what is your favorite part of the patch? What is your least favorite part of the patch? And what is your most whatever part of the patch? I'll go first. My favorite part of the patch, the game for me runs a lot better. This is the most rock solid I've ever seen PUBG. To the point that it's basically behaving like any other game for me. I'm not getting the screen tearing I used to get. I'm getting frame rates that I should get. I'm actually thinking about upping my settings because it got that much of a bump for me. The thing that I liked the least is they added a Doppler effect on drops, and that's kind of like when an ambulance drives past you, you hear the noise sounds different as it gets closer and further from you.
Yeah, it is what it is.
That to me sounds really fake and dumb. It sounds like the plane's stalling when it goes over your head.
Yeah, it sounds like they cut the engines.
And my most forgettable kind of meh thing is the emotes. Not only do I not use the emotes, but I have not seen anybody use the emotes in the pregame lobby or anything. All right, what do you think, Jeremy? What was your favorite thing, least favorite thing, most meh thing?
I'm a scrub. So my favorite thing was the achievements.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Well, I also I gotta say it. We need some diversity on the panel. But I like achievements. I used to not like them, but I do. I think that I don't know. It's just fun. It's kind of collectathon shit. I like having little extra things to work towards, and I feel like a G when I get more of the achievements done than the average player. I enjoy that. So I'm glad that they were up. I only have 2, maybe 3, but I haven't played as much as Chris.
I'll say I'm enjoying the achievements more than I do in most games.
They're fun.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all fucking video games. None of it matters anyways. It's just internal to the game, or I guess on Steam. It's just another fun thing to do in my mind. But so I will also agree that I think the performance improved. I don't think it improved super dramatically, but I also didn't have any noticeable problems. I was getting solid frame rates, so I will concur with all of that. I haven't noticed the Doppler effect yet. I guess just more on the positive. I don't really have anything negative to say. More on the positive side, I liked. I did notice that the sounds had been adjusted, and that was a definite improvement. And I liked the emotes. I'm not strong on them. I'm more than mad though. It's kind of fun to troll and be an idiot and fucking do stupid shit with your head. So yeah, I'm kind of into that too. I think it was a decent patch.
Cool. What do you think, Brian?
All right, I'm gonna disagree with you, Chris. I thought the emotes were the best part of the update.
You're really? Are you being serious?
No, actually, no.
Okay.
Part of the update is that they're gonna have emotes that are effectively paid emotes.
Fuck.
You get from like crates with keys and shit. Am I right?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you said that last week.
I'll
No.
research this,
No.
Brian.
But anyway, the emotes are my favorite part.
Okay.
My least favorite part, the performance upgrades. I don't like that. That's not what I want from PUBG. And the most mad part was probably the menu overhaul. All they did was change the font.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't really know if that's a menu overhaul.
That Doppler is
The Doppler effect is pretty pathetic.
it's they got some
That
work
was
to
a
do on
miss.
that one.
That's a big miss.
Although it would be interesting if occasionally the plane did fall out of the sky.
That would be
Caught
awesome.
underneath the
There
plane.
are crash planes on all the maps.
That would be awesome.
All right, Jake.
Kind of cool.
That would be sick.
I agree with you that the performance updates are the biggest addition. It's like, I mean, you guys all know, like, I had the issue where every single first game we would play, I would not load in. I'd have to close the game, reopen it before I load in. And now I load into the lobby like with like still a minute left in the load time, which is absurd. I don't know if they just like start the timer later just to like fool all of us, or if they actually improved it, but whatever they did is working, because I'm fooled if it's just a bamboozle. But also the game runs so much better, which is nice. Least favorite, probably, I have to agree, is the plane. I can't think of anything else that like was really like a negative update.
Well, do we remember back in the day when the updates, like, it was every other update used to like completely just fuck the game for like until the next update? Like, it was such a crapshoot if it would just ruin it for your computer.
Right.
What if the updates fucking permanently ruined it for my router? I still
I
don't
know.
know. If they fixed that.
Just gonna say, like, that week where
Yeah.
Jeremy couldn't play because they pushed.
Dude,
an
it was
update
like-
that.
It was like 2 weeks, and I literally don't know if they ever fixed it.
But yeah, I mean, it's nice to see that we're kind of past that hump, for at least as of late. Like, we're getting solid updates.
Right. I feel like this, if they had launched at this point, I would have been more okay with them like coming out of early access. It's still not like what I would expect from a released game, but it's more of what it's better. It's a lot better. It's a lot closer to like what you would expect for a video game that's released, and it's $30.
Nice. All right, so
wait, what the most meh was the scopes.
Yeah.
I didn't notice any difference.
Same.
it's not
Except for like the blurriness on like the red dots. Oh no, that reminds me. When they blur out your ammo counter every time
Oh,
you like
third person aim.
third person aim, I think that's like, who even thought of doing that? It's
That's so dumb.
ridiculous.
Next level shit, right, bro? It's like
It's
beyond.
not though.
Dude, someone was just like, I'm gonna sneak this in because I think it's right, and I'm not gonna tell anyone. And then no one checked.
It's like such a waste of. I'm sure it's not like taxing, but it's such like a waste of resources to like on your computer to like blur that. Like, why? Why are we doing this? But yeah, I mean, okay, so patch was relatively successful. We're probably going to be seeing that new map in the next 2 weeks or so. Do we have any kind of new thoughts on that? I mean, I know personally, now that I have in my mind that it's 2 military bases, whenever I'm on that island, I kind of keep it in my head, like, okay, so picture 2 of these. I think it's going to be plenty big, especially if they reduce the vehicle count. I think it'll be fine. I'm actually really excited for it.
I'm also excited. I hope they reduce the number of players, though. I don't think we've heard if it's still going to be 100 players on the smaller map. I'd like to see like 50, 75 players instead.
I think it's confirmed for 100, but
I also
Is it-
think it's going to be 100.
I believe
I think
so.
it's going to be too crowded. Because, like, still, when you drop with, like, 15, 20 people on the mill base, it's like you run into at least 2 squads. And
So when you do that, and the mill base is like designed, that is designed to focus you into that like base, which I know is still pretty big, but like if you spread all that out like evenly across the island, like think of the parts of the island that we only like sneak into, like around the back, or like that west side along all those beaches. If you spread all that out and then you double it, I think it'll be okay.
Well, it's like it's still in the it's one of the I want to say green maps, but I kind of feel like I sound like an idiot. It's not the desert map, so I feel like the only places to get cover on the non-desert maps is in buildings. It's not like the terrain in the desert map where you can kind of hide in hills and stuff. If it was more
trees.
like rocky and stuff like the desert map, I'd be okay with 100 people because there's more places for people to take cover and kind of hunker down and that kind of thing.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm mostly worried about loot. I'm worried about like loot spawns in urban-ish areas. The concept map only showed a few of those, so everyone's going to be drawn into that.
That's true.
That's my biggest. All right,
that's kind of the point, though, right? Like that's why you want different maps, so that they're going to like have different kinds of engagement. So I agree, it is going to be crowded. It's going to be a very different kind of map. We're going to be shooting the fuck out of each other. But I think I'm also excited though. Like I'm excited to see how that goes down, and I think it should bring something a little different to the game. So, but I definitely think it is going to be crowded. And I do disagree. I do not like when I'm on the military base. We're playing together. Chris is always like, "So Jay, you can you handle all the map?" And I'm like, "No. 2 of these. It's not that big. Like it's going to be small." But I think it should be fun.
All right, cool. Any other final thoughts?
I don't know. They're going to have to do something with the circle system. And I agree with Jake that 100 people is too many. On a map that size, like, there is no need for vehicles. 4 kilometers isn't really that far.
Yeah.
And you're going to need either more frequent circles or something to push people in because it's just so small. You're going to have groups of people where the best person there kills everybody else.
The dream.
And then they don't see anybody for another 25 minutes until it's the end of the match. Like you got to change how the circles work to fit the map. And I mean they probably have, but I would expect to see something like that. Either a reduced player count, a changed circle system, or both.
I had a vague. You know what? I'm going to throw it out there. I have a vague, crazy idea for the circle, and then we'll wrap this up. What about this idea of kind of 2 or more concentric circles happening simultaneously that chokes people into smaller circles, and then those? So you're basically having separate games of PUBG going on the map where you're isolated into these subcircles, and then at certain intervals, those circles become one circle and allow people to intermingle. So you go from so traditionally you have one circle that basically makes it so you're never going back to that part of the map again. But if there were, like, we'll just go with 2 circles, for example, 2 circles are now cutting you off from the rest of the map until at one point the circle gets big enough to join those 2 circles. So you're effectively you're closing the map and reopening the map, and that would keep the pacing kind of fresher.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. I mean, you would have to accept that some areas are going to get closed and reopened a couple of times over the map. Like, it's not going to be you get once it goes into the blue zone, it's no man's land. So it kind of adds a little bit more of a strategic factor.
Yeah, exactly.
I cannot picture what the hell you're talking about, but
yeah, me neither. I need a schematic.
Like, we'll talk Venn diagram, or like 2.
Who would want to go back?
About like 2 cells splitting apart, that happening backwards.
Yeah, 2 cells splitting apart happening backwards essentially is pretty decent.
But then you end up back together somehow.
Yeah, you end up back together.
But they're separate circles, moving in the opposite directions.
No, they're moving towards each other.
Yeah, they'd be.
So what if
you have moving circles across the map that stay the same size until you end up in one big? I think this might be too complicated.
Might be.
I would be more interested, I think, in what Brian had mentioned last time, like oblong shit. Yeah, like weird, like shapes that like sweep people in different directions, things like that.
Right. or maybe even combine both of those things. Like,
Yeah.
they got
Now we're getting fancy.
Just get crazy with a circle.
A circle in the shape of a cat,
I play cat
I
game.
think, would be interesting. And the legs move, and as the legs move, the circle moves across the map.
Exactly.
And then you
I
knock
love it.
shit over.
All right. Let us know what you guys think of the patch. If you're excited for the new map and your hopes and dreams for the future of PUBG. But I think I'm forgetting something. Brian, what am I forgetting?
I think you forgot to tell the good ladies and gentlemen watching this video to crush that motherfucking like button.
Yeah.
Little subscribe icon up in the corner there, little bell.
Thanks for that reminder, Brian. But we will. That's all we have for this one. We will catch you up in the next one. See ya.